Madre mia, tío. I opened my phone this morning and it was like reading a medical report, not a football news site. Arbeloa has 5 central defenders down. 5. At the same time.
5. 3 from the first team, 2 from the Castilla, which means Arbeloa is genuinely sitting in his office doing the kind of math that gives you a headache before breakfast.
I've seen fans online already doing the lineup math, and one guy, I swear this is real, suggested playing Valverde at centre-back, and the replies were like, yeah, actually, maybe. That's where we are.
Look, Valverde at centre-back is not a joke anymore, it's a contingency plan. But the real story here is that this squad was already thin at the back before any of this. There was no real depth built into the system for this exact scenario.
And fans have been saying this for months. This is not new information. You cannot go into a Champions League run with basically 2.5 senior centre-backs and call it planning. Que barbaridad.
To be fair to Arbeloa, and I can't believe I'm saying this, he's had to absorb injuries at a rate that no manager could fully plan for. Alaba still not back, Militão in and out, Huijsen and Asensio as your first-choice pairing is not what anyone drew up on a whiteboard in the summer.
Huijsen and Asensio, 2 kids. And I actually like both of them, I do. But we're about to play Manchester City in the Champions League knockouts, Tio. Manchester City. Guardiola just came out saying he's happy to face us because, quote, you learn from playing the best. He's practically laughing at us.
He said you learn from playing the best. That's either genuine respect or the most passive-aggressive thing a manager has ever said. Knowing Guardiola, it's both simultaneously.
Now, Rodrygo, because this is almost as complicated as the defensive crisis. He comes back from injury, right? And his position in the team just doesn't exist anymore. That's the headline. His spot is gone.
This is genuinely interesting from a tactical standpoint. Arbeloa has quietly been building around a different system, and Rodrygo, who was essentially the right-side forward in the classic shape, comes back to find the architecture of the team has shifted around him. It's like coming home and someone's moved all the furniture.
And fans are split on this, which I find fascinating. Half of them are like, Rodrygo needs to fight for his place. This is Real Madrid. And the other half are saying, the fact that Arbeloa couldn't even build a system that accommodates one of our best attackers is a problem. I'm honestly somewhere in the middle.
I lean toward the second camp. Rodrygo is not a squad player. He's not a luxury option. When he's fit and confident, he's one of the most important attackers in this squad. Designing him out of the system feels like a mistake waiting to happen.
Especially with Mbappe out, by the way. And speaking of Mbappe, apparently he's been out longer than he's ever been in his career. The report says he's disoriented by the injury, almost like he doesn't know how to process being injured for this long. And honestly, that worries me more than the injury itself.
It's a mental thing as much as a physical thing. Mbappe has never had to deal with an extended layoff at this level. And there are fans, rightfully, pointing out that the timing is terrible because the City games are coming up fast and he needs to be sharp, not rusty and confused.
There's a column in Marca today that's basically still blaming Mbappe for everything, even now, while he's injured. And look, I've been critical of him too, we all have this whole week, but blaming the guy while he's sitting in a medical room with a knee injury is a bit much, no?
The column is called Se puede pitar. You can boo him. And honestly, I think it reflects where a section of the fan base genuinely is. The goodwill has evaporated. When you're still the villain, even when you're injured, that's a reputation problem that goes beyond one bad performance.
Vamos, let's talk about City, because this is the big one and I want to get into it. The draw gave us the short bracket. First leg, March 11th, second leg, March 17th. Barcelona and Atletico get 10 days between legs. We get 6. Already fans are complaining about the scheduling.
And La Liga just moved our domestic fixture to Sunday at 4:15 in the afternoon, which means less recovery time, heading into a European knockout. It's not a conspiracy, it's just scheduling. But the combination of factors is genuinely inconvenient.
But here's the thing that's actually making fans lose their minds today. The ticket prices for the first leg, between 120 and 445 euros for one game. Even with the member discount of 30%, Tio, that is an insane amount of money.
And this is a recurring conversation that never gets resolved. The Bernabeu has become genuinely inaccessible to the average fan for these big European nights. The atmosphere suffers because of it. And then everyone wonders why the stadium doesn't always feel like it used to.
Remember a couple of episodes ago, we were talking about the Nazi salute fan getting ejected from the Benfica game, and now we're about to have another huge European night. And the question is, who's actually going to be in the stadium? Rich tourists and corporate boxes, or actual Madridistas?
That's the uncomfortable tension. The club wants the Bernabeu to be a world-class revenue-generating venue, and that's legitimate business. But a Champions League knockout against City, with a half-engaged crowd, because real fans couldn't afford the ticket, is a bad look.
One fan put it perfectly online. He said, "I've been a socio for 15 years, and I'll be watching the City game from my sofa because I can't justify €300. That's not a fringe opinion. That's a lot of people.
And look, the counter-argument is always supply and demand, it's a massive game, prices reflect that, fine. But there's also a cultural value to having your own fans in the building for a night like this. And that has a price too. It's just harder to put on a spreadsheet.
There's also this quote floating around from the Marca piece about City: "This Real Madrid is not the Real Madrid of La Decimocuarta." And honestly, true. Completely true. That team had something supernatural about it. This one is still figuring itself out.
But here's my counterpoint, that Real Madrid of the Decimocuarta also looked like it was falling apart before it wasn't. The chaos is almost a prerequisite at this club. I wouldn't write off a team with Vinicius, Bellingham coming back, and Tchouaméni in the form he showed against Benfica.
Tio, Tchouaméni against Benfica was so good that I almost forgot I'd spent 6 months saying he wasn't good enough. Almost. But 5 defenders down, Rodrygo without a position, Mbappé confused by his own knee, and City at the Bernabeu in 2 weeks. Venga, that's the reality.
That is the reality, and it's exactly why this club is appointment viewing. Hala Madrid, and try not to check the injury report before bed. It won't help you sleep.